My name is Michael Bauer, and I'm the director of the Joanna Macy Center for Resilience and Regeneration and of the Office for Sustainability. And Joanna herself, she's a Buddhist scholar, a systems thinker, and an environmental philosopher and activist, and has been for decades, and an elder and a leader in these areas. So the Joanna Macy Center was the first centralized office in higher education that was dedicated to furthering Joanna's work and commitment to her vision and her philosophy of sort of three main areas, which are liberation dharma, nuclear guardianship, and the work that reconnects. The work that reconnects is a technology, a series of practices that was created by and developed by Joanna and others over 50 years to help us reconnect to ourselves, to one another, and to the natural systems that give all of us life. The challenge, though, is my bias, and this has been greatly informed by Joanna's work. We need a new cultural narrative, because you can't just tell someone human psychology and organizational psychology doesn't work this way. You have to have a new story to go into. We have to have a new cultural narrative to go into. And I think the Great Turning is that narrative, is that new story. Those shifts in consciousness, that's exactly what we're trying to do here at Naropa. If we don't get that right and heal, we're just gonna be back here again in another 200 years or 50 years or 500 years or whatever it is, because we're going to recreate the same problems that got us here in the first place. What we know right now with the climate math is that we can't actually just stop emitting carbon. So for example, if we cut off all of our carbon emissions today, we're still gonna go blow past that 1.5 degrees Celsius of average temperature rise globally, which will be devastating. We're at about 1.2 right now, and we're already seeing the disruptive effects. It's not enough to stop emissions. We actually have to draw down those emissions out of the atmosphere. We also need to repair our social connections. That's regeneration. Life wants to regenerate. You see this all the time when you try to pull weeds in your garden. They come back. Given half a chance, life will regenerate. So the relationship to sustainability and regeneration is we can sustain beneficial practices, but we also have to regenerate and restore what's been degraded. Our soils, our waterways, our airways, and our relationships with one another. Because we gotta live together, man. We have to live together, whether we like each other or not. Our goal is climate neutral by 2040, and having this commitment with the city and the county provides learning opportunities for students to learn about renewable energy, alternative transportation, and also about, well, what are carbon emissions and how does that affect me, and what does that mean for how I live on the Naropa campus? One other thing I wanted to show you was this jar of soil that I brought. You might think, well, that's boring. But the number of organisms, living organisms that are in this jar of soil is probably greater than the number of species on the planet. It's emblematic to me of diversity, life, regeneration, inclusion, and the foundation, the ground that we all stand on. And it's something that I'm really passionate about. So save our soils and save civilization.